the director, Mr. Mutero, to come and give the introductory remarks. Also to give the background of the Copper for Development Program. Mr. Mutero.
My name is Gerald Mutelo from Democratic Governance and Human Rights Advocates, DEGA. I stand here to represent Civil Society for Poverty Observatory Group. All the aspiring members of Parliament present, the political parties, civil society organizations, the media, all protocols are observed. Allow me also to recognize the partners in this project, CSPR, Civil Society for Poverty Reduction, as well as Civil Society for Poverty Observatory Group, and the Fighting Inequality Alliance. The Copper for Development campaign, which is being implemented by Civil Society for Poverty Reduction in partnership with Civil Society Poverty Observatory Group and Fighting Inequality Alliance with support from Oxfam, is anchored on promoting the use of copper revenues to diversify and grow the key sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, health, education, and energy. The campaign was unveiled in Lusaka through a national launch that took place at Taj Pamo's Hotel on 30th March 2021. As part of the campaign activities, the partners have proposed a line of activities, and one of them are televised debates for parliamentary candidates in Northwestern and Copperbelt provinces.
Hello and welcome to this prestigious debate by parliamentary candidates from various political parties here in Mufulira. I'm your host, Mishe Moyo, and we are live on the Civil Society Poverty Reduction Facebook page, and you are also watching us on Cabinet TV. And on this prestigious debate, we talk to two parliamentary aspiring candidates here in Mufulira. Allow me to introduce Bishop Dr. Edward Chomba, who is vying for the Kankoyo seat in the August 12 general elections under the PF ticket. Dr. Chomba, good afternoon and welcome to this debate.
Greetings, Bishop. Good afternoon.
Okay. Allow me also to introduce Mr. Regan Kashinga. Mr. Kashinga is standing as an aspiring member of Parliament under the UPND ticket here in Mufulira. And for the record, each of the candidates will be given 2 minutes to answer questions for the first round, and subsequently each of the candidates are allowed to raise questions and challenge their colleagues. And I hope this debate is going to be an informative one and a very civil one. Allow me to, before we get into perspective, to get to you, Dr. Chomba. You are vying for the Kankoyo seat under the governing PF ticket. Just introduce yourself and tell the listeners and the audience what your agenda for Kankoyo is once elected as a member of Parliament in the August 12 general elections.
Once again, good afternoon. Amishi, as we are anchoring this program, I also extend my greetings to my colleagues who are in the audience. But at the same time, I want to simply try to bring greetings of grace and peace to my colleague, Mr. Kashinga, here. We do have in place today the manifesto revised by the Patriotic Front, reading 2021 to 2026. And in that manifesto, there are 27 chapters, and everything is elaborated. So I don't come to this debate with my own agenda. I ride on the agenda of the Patriotic Front. And that's the agenda we are going to follow. And out of the 27 chapters that are there, we definitely are going to zero in on how copper will be able to benefit everybody else. So for Kankor constituency and Zambia at large, we do not just have to talk about development in terms of where copper is concerned, but there are many more other auxiliary factors. I come here as an indigene of Mufulira, born here, went to school here, my parents are here, my children are here, my brothers and sisters are here, and most of my family members have worked at the copper mines that produces copper. So it is an innate thing for me, and that is exactly what I've come here for. I will be bringing forthright what PF stands for in terms of making copper as just one in the jigsaw puzzle that will try to bring development to the citizens of Zambia.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Tumba. Let's get to you, Mr. Kashinga. Just introduce yourself and tell us why you are aspiring as a member of Parliament for Mufulira constituency under the UPND ticket.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Moyo. And I'll say good afternoon to the audience. My name is Regan Kashinga. I stays in Kaukanya there, and I stay there with my wife and my kids, and that's my hometown. I was born here in Mufulira at Kamchanga Hospital. I started my grade 1 at Kamchanga Basic, and I went to Mufulira School. I completed my school. I did clearing. I joined the industry of clearing and welding, and basically I'm now doing this politics. So within a nutshell, I've decided to come on the political scene so that I can represent the people of Mufulira Central. Because when you look at the background where you're coming from, we are coming where the gap is just too much between the people that we normally represent and we, the readers. So I thought I should make a bridge between the people of Mufulira Central and we, the readers. So all I want is to provide leadership in Mufulira Central.
Okay, let's get into perspective and discuss the extractive sector in depth. I'll start with you, Dr. Tumba. How do you intend to support the copper for development campaign, which is anchored on promoting the use of copper revenues to diversify and grow other sectors such as agriculture, health, energy, and education?
Thank you very much, Michelle. We cannot begin any discussion without getting the background history of copper itself and how it came into being. That becomes very important. And I want the audience to know that having served the government for up to 9 years, and out of those 9 years, the 6 I was a permanent secretary from 4 different ministries. And one of the ministries I served, though short, as a permanent secretary, was the Ministry of Mines. I entered, government first, PS Energy, Mines, then I went to Water Development, and then finally at local government. Now, when we are discussing copper for Zambia, let us zero in for Mufulira where we are. Mufulira copper mines, probably up to now we can argue that maybe is the second largest copper producing mine next to Chile. And this was discovered in 1920, long before we were born. And out of all the period that Mufulira and Zambia has been sustained on is as a result of copper from then RCM, if you remember, ZCCM, then came, the private sector. And that history is very important because where we are standing today, I don't have to write the notes to articulate about the history of copper, its production, and the benefit that thereof it can come for the indigenes of Zambia. Today, as we are speaking, and in a figurative, copper price per ton at the London Metal Exchange Company, it is going at $9,445.85. That's quite a bit. The problem we are having is obviously, the COVID, coronavirus issues and the lockdown of everything. That history is very, very important. In 2020, last year, Zambia produced 882,000 tons of copper. That's quite a bit. And people obviously have got to know that. Now, how do we benefit? The only thing is that copper is an endowment for us by God. We found it here. And what the successful governments have done out of the copper production was to begin first and foremost to create employment. And most of the people were employed, they never required requisite qualifications, because this is what we might call, as a matter of fact, corporate social responsibility. A lot of people, grade 7s at that time, Form 3s, they were employed. And it is out of that employment for the people to benefit and what was going on. Along the way, other governments that came in, they were misguided, or they wrote and they read the policies in a different way. They started now to, if you like, a common word they use is like privatize. In other words, they started to call other investors to come and do some work. But we came to discover from the patriotic front that the investors who came, they most of the times never meant well. They hid the profits that was made. There were no fringe benefits to the people that were employed, and they actually argued that the deposits of copper are not going to sustain us for a period going. We grabbed the copper mines from all of them and we tried to nationalize them again, which we have done. Then we've discovered we've produced, in fact, more copper now. The only, nemesis we are having is that even if it is 9,000 plus per ton, the exchange rate that was at $23 or quarter to $1 brought down the price as much, even though it was like that. So, obviously, copper and its history stands like that, and we still have got some deposits. By the way, that's why we call, this valley as Copper Belt.
Just for the record, Dr. Chumba, in the next few hours, you might be lucky to be elected as a member of parliament for Kankoe. When you go to the House of Representatives, do you hope to support this advocacy campaign, Copper for Development campaign?
Michelle, let's get things very clear. I have been on the trail of politics for a very long time now. It is not the question of if. I'm winning. 72 hours counting from now, I will have the mandate to represent the people of Kankoe.
You are walking to parliament?
I will. I'm definitely going to parliament. There are no qualms about that. The statistics are proving us that unless Jesus comes today and all of us we are raptured, then that will be a different story. But as long as we remain here, I am the next MP for Kankoe constituency. We've labored for the people. And we can now, starting from the civil societies, they should not only single out copper as a commodity for development for Zambia. We are endowed, even though I know and appreciate the discussion now is about copper, but I wish the civil society to enlarge their compendium to make it that on top of copper, we can have other auxiliary support metals or other incentives.
I'll rephrase this question to you, knowing very well that copper contributes significantly to the balance of payment support for the government of the Republic of Zambia, and the copper mines are the second largest employers besides GRZ. If elected as a member of parliament under the UPND, hopefully a central constituency, in the next few hours definitely, how do you intend to support the Copper for Development campaign, which is anchored on promoting the use of copper revenues to diversify and grow other sectors of the economy, such as health, agriculture, education, and energy?
Thank you so much for the question, Moy. To start with, as you may be aware, Mufulira in particular, for we are here in Mufulira, so I'll base too much on Mufulira. Mufulira, is blessed with natural resources, and one of the resources that we can talk about is the same copper that is the topic of this whole discussion that we are having here. So what I'm trying to say here is that, having such, we know to say we have to support this, because we know if we can boast to say we export things here in Zambia, I think the exports that we normally do, maybe 80, I can say it is the same copper. If there is any commodity that we can boast with Zambia that we export, it is the same copper. So basically, we just have to support this, because we know it is through the same copper where we're going to improve our agriculture sector. It is through the same copper where we're going to improve the health sector, even education. So it is a must that we have to support this arrangement, because within a nutshell, we can't do it without, because we can only make money, or we can only boost our GDP through the things that we export as a nation. So this one, it is the way to go, and this one we just have to support because it is holding enough water.
Are you pledging that once elected as Member of Parliament for Mufulira, you are going to be the goodwill ambassador for this project which the civil society of poverty reduction is pushing?
Not two ways about it, one mission, not two ways about it. It's a must that we have to push for this one. We have in Zambia, and when you look at some of the issues that are happening concerning the same copper that we are talking about, you'll find that there's a lot of issues that is happening. When you look at the mines that we have, these are the mines that God has given us. But as we are talking you and I, we don't know what is happening even in KCM there. So meaning people on a front stage that are supposed to make sure that these things, they move the way they're supposed to move. They are not like maybe giving their best shots. As a result, this is the reason why you find that when you go to the hospital, you find that there is no medicine there. Because the only resource where we can generate money for this nation, before we could talk of other taxes, the major stuff that can give Zambia money, it is the same copper, this commodity that we are talking about. So we have to put we have to put our main interest on this copper. The reason is very simple. Because even in as much as we boost the agriculture sector, who is going to buy those things when people are not working the mines? So the first thing we are going to do, we as UPND, we are going to restore the confidence in the same investors.
UPND government, are you going to grab the mines like we are doing?
No, the way it is, the move that the PF government made, it is a very good move. It is a very good move by giving the mines to the ZCCM. But where the problem we have, it is the leadership of the leadership that is in place, the same PF. So the move is okay. All we need is to find people that are going to be serious with these mines. Because when you look at the way the PF is doing things concerning these mines, because we cannot survive without the mines. See how Kaunda was managing these things. We cannot make it without the mines. All we need to do, we have to push it. Well, we have to make sure that we put the mines there at the forefront. Because as it stands, this is the same resource that is going to help us even to revamp the agriculture, the health, and these other things. This is the reason why I'm saying we have to continue the way it is. All we need to do, the way the PF is doing things with the mines. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is that we as UPND will make sure that we push these things, because we are not pushing for ourselves, we'll be pushing for the Zambians at large.
Let me get to you, Dr. Toba, before I come back to you, Mr. Kashinga. I want you to tell the nation and to tell this platform your plans on the utilization of revenue from copper to better the lives of people in Kampala constituency.
Moderator, I'm very grateful. That's the reason as to why I think our colleagues who are in the opposition as a group, they've got to learn a lot of things before they answer anything. I would have no control about the revenue that will come from the copper mining in Mufulira, because all revenue collecting agencies and mines, they go in an account we call Control 99. into the government. And once it goes into Control 99, that's where now the Ministry of Finance and all other ministries, they will sit down to debate, where is this going to be apportioned to? Now, if we have got competing needs, we come and say, we have got the high rate of malaria. What will be a good thing? The revenue that will come from the mines, are we going to build a school there, or we should buy medicines for malaria? Those are competing needs. Now, what is more pressing at the time is where we put in the money. For now, we are trading very well in terms of production as well as construction. Wherever you go in Zambia, it is a construction site. Everywhere you go. And now, when you talk about how the revenue has got to be used, and that is a problem we have ourselves, and not government. Number one, we think a job in Mufulira is a white collar. I've got to be like Mr. Moyo, where I wear a necktie and a suit, or I've got to work in the mines. There's fish farming, there's goat rearing, there is chicken rearing, there is, corn growing, there's many more other things. And by the way, when we talk about the economy, we should not talk it holistically. There is individual economy, there's a family economy, there is a sector economy, and there's a national economy. So, when going into the parliament, what we work are two things. Number one, SMEs, small and medium enterprises. That is very important. Number two, what we need to work on is corporate social responsibility. Let me take an example. If the mining sector here, today at 5 o'clock, I was in Kankoyo, I found people taking water from the fire hydrants. Now, the fire hydrants is, where the fire brigade used to go and put in a hose to quench the fire. There were about 3, and I found the women there 5 o'clock this morning, and it was blistering cold. Now I said, look, the mines are producing the water already. What will be the problem to make sure we pipe and we give water to the people? So, it is not only the money we are interested in that will come from the copper mine. There are many more other things we are interested in as a government. And by the way, they are already in place. Yes, I'll champion that. Those with the requisite qualifications, they are employed.
Okay. Mr. Kashinga, tell us your plan on how you intend to utilize the revenue from copper to better the lives of people in your constituency, and in this case, in President of constituency.
Thank you so much.
Many of the things that we can help the people, like, when you talk of, there are certain basics that a human being needs. Like, for example, I can say, we need good health, we need education, we need the same agriculture. All these things, Wakalamba, we can only do them better once we'll have funds with us, and we can only have funds with us through the same. So what we are saying, anything that is supposed to improve the healthy, we'll make sure that we support, because we know to say it is the same from the same revenue of copper that can only turn tables and change the health system in Zambia, so that this shortage of medicine, it will be the story of the past. Even education is the same arrangement.
Asked my colleague a question about his intention regarding what they will do with the revenue that will come from copper. He did not answer it. He started becoming hypothetical. And that's the problem. If you can't pick up what my colleague said, that's the genesis of the problem. He said, we can use it for this, that's a way. We can these schools and all that. I'll take now my constituency. I don't know if he knows the population of his constituency. I can tell you, because I'm an indigenous of Mufulira. But instead, I'll concentrate on Kankoyo. As the census 2020, the status quo for Kankoyo is 55,000 members, error margin there, 55. Now, do you know what we've done? I can give you up to about, 1,000, children per capita. There is either a community school or a government school. That's development. Not a hypothetical way. We can do this and this. Already we've started a program. There is what we call Agenda 2030. Maybe my colleagues in the opposition, they don't know that. Agenda 2030 has talked about all these things. We talk about the 7th National Development Plan. I was part of it. I was one of the people who wrote that. And we have put all this in place. What do they have in place? They have got nothing. Now, in terms of what we intend to do for not only Kankoyo, but Zambia as a whole. The people of Kankoyo, they require reduced sulfur dioxide. It has been reduced now, but we need to reduce it further. About 2 years ago, I brought United Nations there. There was a big meeting over there. UPN, with the money they say they have, through their leader, they could do the same, and no one would stop them. You wonder why they don't do that. Number two, what we intend to do under L400 was to link, because we've got the copper mine here. Can you see what happens, Bishop? We get the copper from here in Mufulira, we take it this way, it goes through that way, Sabina, Chambeshi, it goes via Chimbola, and then it goes to Kasumbaresi. Our intention was to cut through here. Once we do that, we make Mufulira and Kankoyo in particular middle class, because there will be traffic. Women, they will be able to sell to the drivers tute, imbalala, lemons, water and everything. They will be able to do that. Our colleagues have got no plan under whatsoever. Now, we'll do that. But amongst ourselves, as you know, they just want to talk. And that's the problem with Zambia. And this is what we have seen in the opposition. They've become a talking industry. Every time we can do this, we'll build the schools. Have you just seen we are building? We have done the roads.
Just where 2 minutes is done. Mr. Kashinga, UPMT has got no plan. Your response?
And when we talk about all these things, it is something that we always preach about. It is something that we always preach about, and our manifesto is there. It is even on the media, it is even in the public domain. And if our Bishop Tabako had a copy, I can still give him a copy because he done what he did.
100 years of mining.
Yes.
And when you go to Parliament next week, I was speaking affirmative.
Yes.
I guess both of you have done your homework. What sort of related businesses do you plan to initiate for your constituents, the people of your city?
When you look at this whole stuff, it's the way we handle things, more especially these national resources. So this time around, we have to make sure that at least we encourage our people to get in agriculture. Because even you find that even the same mine, they had Makumbi farm, put a wrong road. So agriculture is the way to go. And what we are going to do, as we'll be waiting for our president, the 7th Republican president, to provide the jobs which the PF has built. We are going to encourage the youths and everyone to get fully involved in agriculture, because agriculture, it is the way to go. And once we invest much in agriculture, even Mufulira itself will never be the same. And then when you look at this whole thing, you find that we venture into agriculture and we make sure that Mufulira and Dorara, when you look at how my constituents, Mufulira Central, is situated, Mufulira and Dorara, up to Mukamba somewhere there, we have to make sure that because the moment this road is going to have bitumen there, we believe to say Mufulira will become a transit point. We are in the commercial region where we have to encourage trade, not to discourage trade. But when you look at what is happening now, you find that even the government that is there, it is just discouraging trade. When you talk of Mufulira and Dorara to Mokambo, the president is Edgar Chabalungu has done so many groundbreaking, but we don't see something visible or something happen along Mufulira and Dorara. This is the reason why in my preamble to that other question where I said the way PF government is governing, whenever you get closer to elections, you will see the president coming here to come and do the groundbreaking as if he wants to blindfold the electorates along this road. We don't want that. This is the reason why I'm saying, all we need to do is to be honest and transparent to one another, and Zambia will never be the same. So the moment we are going to do the road there, we are going to help the farmers there, because even these people that are doing importation, this road that is inside Mavamoyo, it is not just the Lord as Lord. You know, it is also connecting Zambia to Congo, and it's also connecting Zambia also. We go up to Luapura there. So people will be using, and it is the shorter route. It is the shorter route. So people will be using this road. Na Mungu pita kwa bantu wing. Na unapo inasa nchike inkonda long Mufulira road. Bakadash, and people will be making money through that.
Do you wish to respond in 30 seconds to some of the issues raised by the UPND candidate?
Yes, I'd like to. It cannot go uncontested. The people in Zambia are watching. I think our Nandi, our UPND in particular, I think they are blind. I think in Impof.
UPND, are you blind?
No, we are not.
Can I, let me qualify that.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll qualify that. If my colleagues knew, because they've said, you know, PF, Tapani PhD, have they driven on Dudumwezi Road, which I did, through the help of the government? And that is in their bedroom. Dudumwezi Road, you are going to say nothing? Mongo Kalama Bridge, are you going to say nothing? Simon Mansaka Pueblo, Kate Katema, Atiliruna ya, your diary is 6 months ahead of time. Sometimes 1 year. So by UPND now, Kateka commission if a blindness in the land Kateka take without putting everything in plan. The schools that we have done all around Zambia, can you still say there's nothing? But let's stop very quickly. And that is a problem of our colleagues in the opposition. They digress. You asked a question, he's talking about Mokambo Road. You asked something else. Apapari Mukambo Road to Ipandama issues. The contractor is already there, swift. But in a quickest note, in responding to this, they will remain blind. And that's why people detest the opposition. Because when they see that we have got milling plants by ZNS,
okay, we'll cut you there. And your response, Mr. President.
Get it clear, Bishop. Get it clear. Get it clear. You know, you are there to improve the lives of the people of Kangoyo, and so do I. So now, you know, what we are going to do is to set the priorities, things that matters, so that the things that we are going to look at, so that we see how best we can take tables for the people, the common people of this nation. So when we say, we are talking about agriculture, the example that I said, it is the Makumbi farm around Mufulira and Dora Road. Now, people there, because of PF government, who can set some priorities. We are talking of 2 decades. The road has been in that state. And he is boasting here to say, let me tell you this, take it from me, let me say this. You know, what is happening is that this PF government, it is the government that is so corrupt. I've got a point, Eddie. Go ahead, take your time. Go ahead. You know, the PF government is so corrupt. Why am I saying the PF government is so corrupt? You know, but PF, you know, they bought a fire tender, those trucks, which they said, you know, it's about $1 million. After Googling those things, we discovered the actual prices of those fire tenders. And then they thought maybe to say, no, people, because of the smartphone and all that, I think maybe where they can do their business and get their kickbacks, because they're good at that. It's through construction. It's through construction. Who has done that? It is very difficult, even for you, Michelle, to go and tell to say the money that was the BOQ and the money that was involved in this construction is ABCD. So, then importing stuff. Let's talk of the ambulances. Let's talk of the handbill. Those are the issues, but it is not a topic of this matter that we are talking about. This is the reason.
UPND is blind?
No, UPND is not blind. This is the reason why we are taking over from the PF government. You know, in the first place, you know, his president, Edgar Chabarungu, he said, so it is PF. He blind because impossible is a bishop. What the Bible says, impossible in so if some people are not careful with PF government, we are going to fall in and teach.
Can I rebuttal?
Okay.
It requires.
Okay. It's a good debate. I'm enjoying it. Let's not dissuade.
Yes.
20 seconds. Your reactions, Dr. Choma?
I am a politics yanga, and that's the problem. Because the things that he has talked about, Googling, about the fire tenders, and the most difficult thing for him, the things he's mentioning, I came also to inherit those fire tenders at local government. It is in charge. If they don't have the facts, it is a problem. But I wanted to help my colleagues to understand corruption is there everywhere around the world. Now, there is real corruption. I gave you a chance. There is corruption that is perceived as corruption to make people not work. I served in the government mission for 6 years as a controlling officer in charge of the money in the government. I never answered any audit query at Parliament. I never lost one word.
Dr. Tomba, you are going to Parliament next week. Are you ready to sign a social contract with the people of Kampala?
Wow, I want to see the details that are in there. I'm happy. By the way, I've already signed a social contract with them, even through my president, but I will be happy.
Well, what are the details of that social contract you have signed?
It is prepared by the one I've signed already.
Yes.
Number one, out of all things, that the meetings will continue every single time the MP comes back, continuously. Number two, we are going to continue working together by involving them in what we do. Number three, the social contract is going to be inclusive. Number four, we are going to continue with peace. Number five, all of us work together. Part of the content is that.
Mr. Kashinga, are you signing a social contract with the people of Mufulira Central to ensure that you champion copper for development campaign agenda?
Looking at all this that is in this, it is making a lot of sense and it is working enough water. And if we can only implement this real noteways, I believe it is going to help us and Mufulira will never be the same. So this one, I'm more than ready to sign.
Okay, before I give the mantle back to Dr. Chumba, I want to get it from you, Mr. Kashinga. I'll give an example of Solwezi Municipal Council. They have passed a progressive bylaw where 10% of the proceeds from the mines is remaining in Solwezi for the development of that particular district. Do you hope to push such an agenda here in Mufulira once elected as MP?
The first thing, when we look at Mufulira Central, Moyo, it is divided into wards. And I believe we are going to have ward councillors. So the most important is to come and sit down with the same ward councillors and we'll talk about these things so that at least, they go push it there and we have it signed. And on this one, we can only give kudos to MMT because this was happening in MMT and it was just squashed off. So by so doing, we know to say things will never be the same. Even the recreation center will be revamped and will have enough funds. Council workers will be getting their money on good time and like the way it is now. And when you look at this whole thing, you find that the bishop here is served also from the local government. And we've got the issue of water across the district. So what was he doing? Those are the questions that people from Kangoyo should be asking themselves. And then he comes, he starts like dragging balls to blindfold the people. Maybe, let's be serious and let's be good to people. We are here to serve, not to impress ourselves. Thank you.
He's here to defend himself.
Thank you very much. Let me begin with my president. If he ever had a chance to go to Parliament, these are the people they call black sheep. And they force him, and you end up joining PF. He can't say one thing, and this president is saying another thing. My president, when he came in 20, when the President Sata left us, he was asked this question he's talking about. What is your vision? The president said, I've got no vision except the one that President Sata had. And he has been building on that. And they are able to see that. Now, we have seen semi-illiterates clapping. Oh, he had no vision. What do they know? What vision? You wait a minute. I gave you a chance. And he has built up. What was mission? Give me 1 minute, please. What was the sole and the core responsibility of UNIP? Bringing freedom to us. And they did well. What was the core responsibility for MMD? To bring in multi-party participatory democracy. What is the core responsibility of PF? Infrastructure development. And everybody is seeing that. Lastly, Nisha, please, I've got to answer, because even on a radio station, I have got people who have got little knowledge. I was not the PS for Kankoyo in war. I was the PS for Zambia. If they are blind, they should go to Western Province. I have sunk 4,000 balls. They should go to Nakonde. We have given them water which they never had. Let them go and seek a flafuta. We have got water there. Let them go to their southern province. I sank 8 dams at the cost of 8 billion. What did you do? The money I used to pay for Chigolia balls is my personal money, because I come from there. It's not the government. So they continue being blind and being like a Sunday school or even a kindergarten child. What did you do? Can't you see that I even did the toilets in Western Province? There are 5,000 there. You can't see that Chibalashi dam that I did mission there. The cabbage that they sell in, Luapula province, it comes from Chibalashi dam. Chibalashi dam was only collecting 3,000 cubic meters of water. Now they collect 3 million. Where are these people? Who are they? They are so aware.
In Parliament next week, I will going to see you push the Municipal Council to pass a bylaw compelling the mines to allocate 10% of their profits to the community.
Before my colleague comes in, let me tell you, I'll tell you what I did for Lumwana Town Council. When you go to Lumwana there, do you know how much Lumwana mines give to the local authority there? In a year, $1.2 million. We did that. It is not for the council, it is for the people there. There's a new town that is coming there. Now, for me to push them, we have got the able mayor who is coming in, Dr. Mwale. We have got able, councillors who are coming in, who are knowledgeable and who are acute, and they are there. And they will have some MPs who have been to Parliament, and some of us who have been there. What are people from Mufulira going to work for? Completely nothing. Instead of me pushing them, we have got level-headed councillors who are coming to ensure that the mining sector here, they spill over to whatever they get to the people around. And our colleagues in the opposition, they will keep on saying, Aleisa, Aleisa, Tafika, Aleisa, Aleisa, Maprisa, Aleisa, Aleisa. The agenda they are talking about here, it has got to be known. I have left the manifesto everywhere. They went to, is it to Cuba? To Jamaica. They went to Jamaica to do plagiarism. They get their manifesto there. They think they can bring people here. No. We know these things. And they have completely failed. Even in their attempts. That's why I said at the beginning, Nishek, I said, I wish I was their advisor. But
Mr. Kashinga, Dr. Jumba is ready to be the advisor to the UPND. Just in 30 seconds respond to his remarks before we get to the subsequent questions.
It's very sad that your Bishop Vadi Kashika, why would you start with West? Why would you start with West End when you know Uliwakuno? Just because maybe he had plans to say Mushimba Monica Tinafilwa, and then that's when I'll go there. We don't do things like that. So what you are expecting when the bishop was in that office is also to make sure that he prioritizes also is there where he's coming from to improve the lives of the people of Kankoy.
We've got under 10 minutes before we close the program.
They don't know how government works.
Okay, I'm the moderator. We'll give you a
wait.
You can go ahead, Mr. Kajin.
This same one, you know what he said?
Yes.
Atubalungu batire, ishkote chimone dekonganya kuna basate wali kupoke kasumbares from those Israelites. I mean, prayer there was even a handing over ceremony of Kasumbares, the Konkanya Vision Yavasato. So he's just trying to Zambia, Bakalamba, it should just be a shell. So what Bakalamba Bishop, it is not like that. It is not like that.
Okay, let me ask you this. I've got 2 questions before we close the program, and I'll pass the mantle to your counterpart, Dr. Tumba, to respond and to answer this question. Regan Kashinga, as Member of Parliament for Mufulira, let's discuss corporate social responsibility by the mines in Mufulira. And we have heard assertions that the Mopani has got no definite policy on social corporate responsibility, because this is a theme of the past you made with ZCCM. What are you going to do, Mr. Regan Kashinga, as lawmaker to compel the mines in Mufulira to plow back to their community?
Come again.
What are you going to do as a member of parliament to force the mines to plow back part of their profits to the community?
That question is what?
Okay, that's number 6, corporate social responsibility. Let us, we are preparing to answer that question. Let us get a rebut from Mahukin. Is getting fair share from the mine so that we have more money for corporate social responsibility. Dr. Tumba, 30 seconds to be back and 2 minutes to respond. Exactly 16:34. Time is not with us.
The issues we have in-house as PF, whether there was another MP and another person, has nothing to do with our position. Whether there was this MP, nothing to do with it. They cannot piggyback on that. Oh, to make this one fair. In PF, we don't fail. We have worked very well. We can quarrel here and there, but we don't. Let him know. I was running mission, is a rebuttal. 112 local authorities. I gave all of them equalization fund, including their opposition, on time. What is he talking about? I was, when my young sister died here, we are about to bury the next day. I was preparing in the bedroom how to disperse the money to all the councils. That is what we call spirit of servitude. I didn't want people to suffer. I gave them a lot more. Kamkoyo, I gave them. I gave everywhere else. It is up to the local people to use that money based on their priority. It is not me to come in, otherwise I'll be interfering. So again, they need to be schooled about governance.
Now, your response to corporate social responsibility.
Now, corporate social responsibility, my brother is reading, so that they can have the question. Now, I'll tell you, that is fine. That is fine. I'll tell you. Now, corporate social responsibility normally comes in a concession license. That's where it comes in. By the time you are getting the license, then they put in there. Now, because we have taken in the court now, it is easier to deal with the government of President Lungu. Now, you can't go and promise abantu abakangoyo ati nkabire dela umukaka but bafa yokumakatu. You can't do that. So what you do is to go to them. What do you require? Oh, to refire mesh. We want toilets. We want a iron to be like this. When you make sure that that is attainable, that's when you take it to whoever whoever is doing business in that area to say, what is required is this and this and this and this. And out of endowment which they have is when they come and say, okay, corporate social responsibility, we can only give them this and this and this.
Thank you so much.
And that's what we need to do.
30 seconds up. Mr. Kashinga, corporate social responsibility.
To start with, we can only appreciate Vamupani, the way they are doing stuff. And we've seen that what I've minded, Vamupani, what I've na rugby.
Allow me not to
Before that.
Put it clear.
Okay, fine.
It was before.
Yes. You know, we've seen the way the mines were, the mines were helping the mines of Freedom One rights, and they've been helping in the rugby. But we still believe that if you actually can even more than that, the way ZCC was doing stuff was whatever you find that we go much Marasanga Baretiako tennis, badminton, Baretiako Chelsea, so that at least when you look at this whole arrangement, it is something that even when I'm coming at your place, there are certain things that you are going to tell me to say. Those are the issues you give me those conditions. So it is the same thing. When these people, even the time that were coming, they were supposed to be given these responsibilities to say, you continue the way ZCC was doing business. I think it was going to help us. So we'll make sure that we do even more than what ZCM was doing.
Bishop, please.
20 seconds.
If we do not get things right, my brother is digressing. That's a problem. I have not gotten, the answers. What they will do is corporate. Wait a second, please. Now, you'll come back, my brother, with great respect. Sure. Now, I'll tell you, when he says ZCCM was doing this, Emulan doing it to mines and put them back to government. ZCCM was in government. He said this from Mufulira. I benefited from Francis Kalonzo when he was the managing director. Now, when we talk about Ramopani was helping this and this and this, let him go back and check. In their concession license, it is because of them why Shinde is like the way it is. In a bad state. It is because of them we don't have proper swimming pools. It is because of them we have got no tennis courts, no basketball courts, no volleyball, no netball. And he's trying to say, okay, when we come over, we will encourage them. If they are going to privatize the mines, like his president said, and his other colleagues forget about corporate social responsibility.
Okay, do you hope to respond?
No, you can just answer.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Let's get to the issue of the man of God. Okay, I'm well reminded by the organizers of this forum that we need to get three questions before we close. Yes, we can get a set of questions. I can see how is there.
Good afternoon, our able incoming members of Parliament.
Good afternoon.
Yes. No, thank you so much. I think all of you have elaborated things. My question is, I think here, many other times, that members of Parliament wouldn't follow what the people they're representing are saying. Most of them, like what we have seen, when they go into Parliament, they would just say, no, this is what my party says. I'm towing the line of the party. My question to our two able members of Parliament, are you at any time going to defer the orders of the party to stand with the people who have elected you?
Thank you so much. Mr. Nkata, Green and Justice, your question?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, our incoming members of Parliament. I've got a simple question. Bishop Edith Chomba having missed you in 2016 when you wanted to contest in Kakoya constituency. I know lots have passed on without your step or your foot on the challenges. My simple question, because you are coming from the civil servant perspective, where you've been working as permanent secretary, not as a politician. Now that you have started politics, and your ambition is ready to bring Kankoyo constituents to a better move than before. My question is, looking at our main subject as copper for health, and having captured a lot of challenges, especially for Kankoyo Central, what is your vision for Kankoyo Central? Because we've got this acid plant closer to the housing units, and of course, it could have pained you, or it could have troubled you to see most of the damage that has been caused due to the sulfur emissions coming from the acid
Thank you so
plant.
much, Mr. Nkata.
Yo, mulando wakwebati. Inekula kuine Ekungan and Mufulira Central is my constituency. And everything that I'll be doing there, it has to be in the best interest of the people of Mufulira Central.
Thank you so much. Dr. Tonga, your response?
Thank you very much. The first question, that's where in Zambia we need to teach ourselves about politics. I never dreamed that I am a civil servant, then tomorrow I become a politician. There is no English word called politics. It comes from a combination of Latin and Italian. We pronounce it as politeia. Politeia is defined as the process by which you govern the interests of the people. That's politeia. So who is the first politician? A mother in a home. The next thing they want, dump the bag. They don't know where the books are, the shoes are there, the socks are there. They want to eat, go to play. The mother makes sure by the following morning, she's put everything in place. She's a politician in a home. A father who always goes out to make sure he gets the money for the family is defending the interests of the home is a politician. A priest like me who makes sure abantu n'abafunga n'abakitefu balefu okuchita, I am a politician to that jurisdiction where I am. That's where politics come from. So if people will understand the meaning of politics, your question will never even arise. The problem is that they don't understand. The first thing they do when they go there is to go and get vehicles. Because it is tax-free. I have got the vehicles. They want to buy some suits. I've got the suits. They want to build a house. How many houses can you have and sleep in one night? Only one. I have. So, your question, when you say many other times, people are not representing the people who sent them, is because they don't understand the meaning of politics. I am going to Parliament at the invitation of two entities. One, my political party, through my president, members of Central Committee, and my leadership on the province, secretariat, the district, and the constituency. Those are the people I don't have to leave. And I will represent their needs. Not because I live there or I don't live there. That is persona non grata. Number two, you know, what is my vision from my brother, Mr. Carter? We go back to the same way. Yes, things have changed, but there is what we call interventions of universal needs. Amenshi, ifimbusu, amaskulu, and the health of the people. Those are very important. I don't know if it was here I said, money can give you a house, but money cannot give you peace. Yes. Money can buy you a bed, but money cannot buy you sleep. Money can buy you medicine, but money cannot buy you health. So what do we do? The entry point of my vision is to sit with the people and try to hear. By the time we are coming to 2026, the people who will be born on Thursday, they are ready to go to kindergarten. What plans we have for them? We have. Go and read our manifesto. It is there. The third question. There is what we call, my brother in government, the continuum of service. The 36 million that was promised to pay, which is supposed to come from retention on the investor who was there. If it is not there, then we've got to revisit that. If they left the money, trust me, knowing this president, who they are going to relate back, who doesn't take from the poor, he will give it back to them. He will. Because I've seen it. You remember when I talk about Dudumwezi? I am proud to say on camera, the first thing we had 3 votes from Dudumwezi, and he told me, go and make a road there. I told him, Your Excellency, fire me. I will not go there. He said, you will. You will go there and make the road for them. I said, why? He said, that is leadership. That is my president. Let me hear another cattle rancher, another man who has got more animals than the population of Zambia to give to every house 1 animal so that people can have more protein. I don't see it coming. My president is the best. Now, construction of Dam 10, which we have talked about, it hinges on the safety of the mines and the people that live around. The greenhouse you talk about, it is all about money. At the end of the day, that's why they need me. And I meet them in Kamkoyo, not the opposition, because we have already started to discuss these matters. I will not give you a promise here because, for example, for the greenhouse, which we have been talking about. So all I promise you is that in the first 100 days of me going to Parliament, I'll come back to you and say, my brother, through the coordinator, to say, I have found all the nitty-gritties and details, and I will provide guidance where we need to go. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the close of this prestigious debate organized by the civil society, poverty reduction, and its partners. And on the program, we had Bishop Dr. Eddie Chomba, who is vying for the Kamkoyo parliamentary seat under the PF in the August of general elections. We also had Mr. Regan Kashinga coming from the United Party for National Development. He is jostling for the Mufulira Central constituency seat in the August 12 general elections. I hope you, the viewers, have learned a number of things from the two contenders. And to you, Dr. Tomba and Mr. Kashinga, wish you luck and hope you are going to have a peaceful campaign, as we call the program. So on behalf of everyone else here in Mufulira, it's pleasant viewing, and we shall talk to you next time.